Coming spinner. What do we got here? This is a Kreg router table. It's an item I've had for probably about 4 years. I never regretted a moment of having gone out and purchased it. It's absolutely wonderful, and I'm going to explain in this video why it is so wonderful. Stick around, let's have a look. This is a KR PRS 1045 router table from Kreg, and if this is the first time viewing Sumo's projects, love it if you go and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share the video around amongst the community. Alright, let's see what we've got here. A router table such as this Kreg router table is a versatile all-rounder. It's made really solid from formed and folded steel, and if you get the casters, you have the ability to move it about. Not only can you cut dados, rebates and roundovers, it also gives you the ability to do box joints, dovetails and a whole heap of other type of woodworking activities. As we see here, the fence is held down by two locks. There's a screw mechanism on one side and a lever lock down on the other. As you can see, the fence is fully removable. This is all anodised aluminium extrusion. Some of the features are, as I showed you just then, that's one side lockdown mechanism, and on the other side you can tighten it down here. So good features. Also comes with tape, so you can adhere that to the top of and that's good if you're wanting to just mark out for things to make, say, stop plunge cuts. It'll give you the distance you want to travel, and then you can remove your stock and simply go ahead to the next part of the operation. Bolts, the reason that we can loosen all these off, and that will then enable us to move this fence in and out. So very good to position, especially if you want to push that dust extraction down through, whatever you got hooked up. Any type of vacuum is great. Using a straight bit here to cut a rebate or a rabbet, it's quite easy to do this, and the fence is beautifully locked down. There's a track here which accommodates things such as this type of featherboard or other types of jigs, a very handy feature to ensure one's safety. So just going over a few accessories that came with this when I purchased it. I had 3 of these inserts here, the throat plates. They're good. They dictate a little bit about the terms of safety. So the gap that's between the bit and also the plate that goes in there has to be at the minimum, I suppose. And that also assists with dust extraction if your router has that. So it'll give you the best practice. Here's a winder key. That's to do with the router, which I'll explain a little bit later. We've got a spanner here. That'll just undo your collet and allow you to release and insert a new router bit. This great little tool. This allows you to engage and disengage these throat plates, and that's a great thing. There's also a dust shroud. If you're first time, I'd recommend using this. Although at times it can be a little bit detrimental and get in the way, so it's up to you. There's also a feature where you can have micro adjustment. I don't use that. I don't get too intricate with projects I work on, but I think it's measured in metric, imperial I should say, and allows for fine dial in to make according widths of cuts. So that's practically what you get with the machine. 4-inch dust extraction port that I use. I believe you can get the fittings and that, so you can run it through a smaller shop vac. It's up to the individual. And yeah, and these T-tracks here. So there's also a T-track in the top. I made a little jig here. It's a stop, so I can put it in at any space if I'm doing a start-stop cut sort of thing. And yeah, it's a sturdy thing. steel legs, so you've got to assemble them with nuts and bolts. Goes together perfectly. I think Craig, the blue colour, is a bit of a nice colour as a feature. And yeah, depending on what router you put into it, it's a great machine to have. I'll basically demonstrate here what purpose all the fittings are. So as you see, I have a T-bolt which runs along all the T slots, and that's handy for the stop block, as I mentioned before, and also an assortment of different jigs. So you get the, I think they get 3 standard throw plates with the purchase. I purchased more for different size router bits. This little bit of a dust feature sort of thing is alright. I don't use it, but you got the spanner here to release your throw plate and then interchange all your bits as you go. The micro adjustment is handy, but in imperial measurements it's probably a little bit difficult for people working in metric. So simply by lifting the router mechanism, you can unlock the collet, a couple of turns, and some good safety features on this particular router. Interchange it, keep it up a little bit higher and tighten it up, and then simply reposition it to the height that you need and put your throw plate back in and lock it down. So pretty easy to set up. Another great feature with the Craig router table and the fence setup is the ability to be able to joint boards. You get these 2 little plastic attachments. Now they go in the back of the outfeed part of the fence here, and I'll show that to you. And they're about 3/32 or something like 0.09 of a millimetre. And what they do, they force that out. I'll show you the setup so you get a better idea. Another fantastic feature of Craig router table fence, I don't know if other manufacturers have this, is the ability to be able to do jointing. So if you loosen off your left hand front fence, put in these rods top and bottom and retighten it, and then align your router bit with the fence that you've pushed out, get that nice and flush, and now you have the ability to push your stock through and give yourself a nice clean reference base, so you're ready then to do the next part of your joinery or woodworking build. And this is how easy it is to plug into the back of the fence your dust extraction hose. A little bit like everything in life, it's not all beer and skittles. I'd say this is 95% awesome machine. I love it. I've never regretted purchasing it. The 5% that can go probably against it is not being a cast iron top. It's a phenolic material, and that means some of the modern day magnetic switches you can purchase actually not going to fix to the surface of this. So all in all, I'm pretty wrapped. I bought this, and I'll never have any regrets because it gets used with just about every project I do. This is a Triton router I use. This is a locking mechanism there. Once you get into position, you lock it down. The router mounts from underneath, and it has levelling arms here, so there's a little bit of work getting it set up, and there's also a template to help you get ready to mount it. And here it is in action. Beautiful. So motoring up this router table is the Triton dual mode precision plunge router, 2,400 watts or 3¼ horsepower. Quite a powerful beast of a machine. Reason I chose this, it had a patented lift mechanism, which was a unique thing when it came out exclusively to Triton, because they developed and designed that. And to mount this, you have to view your instructions depending on what router you do purchase. This insert plate here, that obviously is not inserted at the start. What you do is get a template, and you can align the template with holes, and that'll help you find a designated hole for which you can then set up, drill that hole, and that'll be your winder that will feed through that and lift your router up and down. So great router, highly recommended.